Well, we're big basketball fans, but it's been painful to watch the Celtics in the last few games. And fortunately, there's been other good games in other NBA series, so I've been watching more of the other series than I usually watch.
Did I tell you my friend gave up his tickets before the playoffs?
No.
My friend, we were going to the games.
Right.
And after the LA Clippers and Laker game, we got so disgusted with the effort in that game that a couple of weeks later he gave back his tickets. They called him for the playoffs, and he goes, not only am I not going to the playoffs, I'm not coming next year. Well, he gave up his season tickets.
In any event, we'll have plenty more hockey to watch this season as the Bruins play the Carolina Hurricanes.
They're going to win it, Ron.
I hope
they
do.
Win it. I mean, the Bruins are far above the Celtics. When you talk about effort, I mean, what a disgrace the Celtics are.
Yeah, the Celtics.
This team compared to this Bruins team.
The Celtics, at times in the series, have clearly quit. I mean, you know, it's embarrassing to say that, but they have.
Yeah. But I mean, just compare it. I mean, it's really, the Celtics are really a disgrace compared to the Bruins. When you look at effort, the Bruins' effort, every second they're out there, they're going 100 miles an hour. They're taking hits. They're hitting people. They're diving to block shots.
Right,
and you look at the Celtics, Tatum's afraid to step in on the Greek Freak when he's coming down the middle. Kyrie gives him, it's almost like he was there, and he says, come right through, Kyrie did a couple of times, because he was upset he wasn't shooting well.
Well, the shot blocking from both teams is really exceptional. You know, at the end of Game 5, when McAvoy laid out and took it off the inside of the skate.
But when you talk about it, though, Ron, it's like they're real men, and the Celtics are like boys that are afraid to get hit. I mean, you got guys, Morris is playing hard. And the thing that shows it is they thought that Smart was going to be the guy that was going to take care of, the defensive end. He takes 5 3-pointers, knowing he's been out for a month. If I'm coaching you, right, and you're coming back after a month, you know, and you're not a good shooter anyway, like, you know, if I'm talking to Smart, I'm saying, listen, play the good D, move the ball around, maybe, you know, take the ball to the hoop if you have an angle, but don't go crazy with the threes. And do you think Stevens says anything? Everybody knows you're not going to be on.
Well, the whole NBA game is now awful to watch in large part because you don't, as Popovich says, you don't see good basketball anymore because people pass around, take threes, or periodically they'll try to get layups if you have a Harden. But, I mean, Popovich basically said the game is terrible right now. And it's spreading to college and it'll spread to high school. But it makes no sense for young players to take an abundance of threes unless they can make them. Just being able to, yes, I can see the basket doesn't make you a shooter.
But a big factor, too, is, I mean, when you have the Bruins playing and the Celtics playing, I mean, they got to be hearing it, the Celtic players. I mean, we're big basketball fans, and I'm looking at the Celtics. To me, they're a disgrace. I'm looking at the Bruins saying, geez, you talk about a team you want to watch, you know, the way they play, and the Celtics are over here, and they've basically been a disaster. They don't care. They have no heart. They got Kyrie, who cares about himself. I mean, none of them want to play with him. Haynes doesn't know that. They're not listening to Stevens.
Well, I think you have a situation where so many young guys are playing for their future. I mean, they want to win, of course, but they're playing for the contracts that they haven't had. Whereas in the NBA, you have even players who are lower. I mean, a guy like Yabusele's making over $3 million. I mean, and he doesn't even play, which, I mean, that's the way the structure of the league is. That's the revenues. Salary cap's over $100 million. And some teams are paying $140 or $150 million.
And is Ainge crazy giving him 3-point-something million? What does he do?
I don't know.
What is he going to ever do?
I don't know what he was thinking about.
The Celtics need, I'm telling you now, the Celtics need a guard who distributes the ball, plays good defense, can hit the open shot, doesn't have to be a superstar, and you got to hope the rest of the players develop with him. Because there is talent there, but they got to start showing it, and they got to start playing with a lot more heart.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. You know, the Celtics could have as many as 4 draft choices in this draft, but which, of course, if they end up with that many, they won't be top end.
We got to hope that New Orleans general manager's dumb, really. that he thinks Tatum's going to be Tatum, Smart, and maybe 3 first-round picks will do it for Davis. I think after watching Tatum now,
Well, I think Tatum's value's gone down some in the postseason this year. So, you know, and presumably, I mean, I can't see them. I think Kyrie's just going to go. He's going to go to New York. Durant, especially if the Warriors don't win, he'll probably go to New York. So they'll have hope in New York City.
we're saying all.
You know, I think that you see in the Celtics this great division between the established veterans and the rising stars who, you know, Jason Tatum has totally fallen off. He's only averaging 11.5 points in the series. Hayward's only averaging 7.5 points. Can't say he's a rising star. I don't know what's going on with him in the playoffs this round. And then Rozier's only averaging 5.5. So Rozier's gone to useless. And the player who's stepped up really has been Jaylen Brown, who's been pretty good.
Well, who's been their best player, and which is a surprise to me, because I wanted him gone after this year. Morris.
Oh, yeah, Morris has really shot the ball well.
14 rebounds the other day, working hard on the boards, played great against Indiana.
Well, he's playing for the next contract.
No, but I mean, he's really played really well. And the thing is, Kyrie has to go.
Yeah, he's going. He's going to be in New York.
No, I mean, Ainge has to let him go. Ainge is crazy if he offers him that big contract. He's got to let him go. My thinking now is that these players are not going to develop with him or Smart, as far as I'm concerned, because Stevens doesn't know how to use Smart. I mean, Stevens is another story, but you know my feeling about him. He should be coaching college because he can't coach pros.
Well, I think they have. I mean, I think Ainge, you know, who had a heart attack recently, so it's tough to get on the guy too much. But I think that the roster is currently constructed. Obviously, the players just don't get along. There's a real chemistry problem right now.
But, you know, and I go back to last year when the Celtics were doing good, and on the show I told you that Stevens, my feeling is Stevens is not as good as people think he is. Even when the Celtics were doing good last year, because just the way I saw him coaching, things worked out well. I mean, he's a good coach, but he's not great. But this year, he's turned out to be a really bad coach. He's either the dumbest coach I've ever seen, or the players aren't listening to him at all. And he's got to know that the players just aren't listening to him, and he's better off going back to college. You know, because in the pros, you know, you get these pros that are making the money.
Well, I think what's happened is the Celtics are not providing any interior defense or resistance or help. Yesterday, the Bucks scored 66 points in the paint, which is like the most the Celtics have ever given up since recorded statistics.
But, Ron, they're not. I mean, you watch them play. They're quitters, number one.
They did quit.
Tatum is the biggest dog, and I love Tatum. Tatum and Hayward were my favorite players. I mean, I love Hayward when he was playing with Utah, the type of player he was. And what I'm seeing now, you got Rozier, you got Tatum, and you got Hayward playing terrible basketball. Terrible. And the biggest dog out of the three of them is Tatum. Well, he's afraid to step in front of you. Well, he's got no heart at all coming out of Duke.
Well, they're getting 0 out of the bench. I mean, literally 0. And with Kyrie Irving only shooting, well, they have Irving, Hayward, Rozier, and Tatum are all shooting less than 40%. I'm not just 40% on threes, we're talking 40% period. So they're not making shots, they're not defending at the rim. Their number of assists is really low. They have the lowest amount of offensive rebounds of any of the 16 teams that went in the playoffs. You know, so the statistics are just telling you how unaggressive they are overall.
But except for Tatum, who gets along with Kyrie, they both went to Duke and they've worked out together. You know, he's like his little brother, I guess, his younger brother. Kyrie is hurting everybody else on the team. No one wants to play with him. Hayward does not want to play him. Kyrie is the biggest reason why Hayward's playing like he's playing. Because Kyrie wants to be the big guy. He wants to handle the ball. The best player on the team handling the ball is Hayward. He should be handling the ball in the half court. And he gets the ball once in a while, so then he misses 2 shots, went a little too long. He's not getting the ball anymore. Kyrie doesn't look for him anymore. And then you got to get Brown going. Tatum's got to do his dribbling and all, taking his jump shots, you know. And that's the way it goes. Morris, I was really down on, but he's played really good in the playoffs. He's been their best player. And I'm not going to get down on Horford because of the last 2 games he didn't play well, because Horford, to me, has had a really good year.
Well, when they're in the bottom 5 in the league in going to the free throw line and they're not shooting well, it tells you they can't possibly win because they can't score without shooting extremely well from the periphery because they don't go to the basket at all.
But you know what? I've come to the conclusion, you know, I'm hoping that Tatum, he's 21 years old. I'm hoping as he gets older, he gets tougher. You know, a lot of the players do. Because he has no heart right now. He has no heart, Tatum. He doesn't step in front of a guy. He lets him go by him. Doesn't try. He never takes an offensive charge. But you know what else? You know, I'm down on him big time, and I loved him last year.
Well, who's going to be in the, first of all, the conference finals? It's obviously going to be Milwaukee in 1.
I think Philly's going to beat Toronto. I think it's all Leonard for Toronto now. What's going on with Ibaka and all those guys? They're doing nothing.
Yeah, they have to rely on Seacom to do too much.
And Seacom's starting to get to him.
And Lowry's, you know, Lowry's a real good player, but he's not a superstar. So I agree. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Philly against Milwaukee and then Milwaukee beats Philadelphia. And then in the West, I think Golden State Houston is a toss-up right now.
I think both of them. Denver. It could be Denver and Houston.
It could be. I mean, Jokic got a little bit hurt the other night. Portland's got injuries. Cantor, I don't know if you saw the play where Jokic was boxing out and he just basically slammed his shoulder into Cantor's bad shoulder, trying to hurt him.
Jokic is something, though, huh?
He might be the best passing big man I've ever seen. I mean,
and they run their offense through him.
Even better than Sabonis. I mean, he's amazing as a passer. I mean, he can stand out on the foul line extended beyond the 3 and just flick it to the other corner like it's nothing. He's so big.
But you know, getting back to the Celtics run, who knows? Who knows if they come up with if they all come up and play hard. You know, Hayward plays good. I mean, they all have the potential to play well if they can click. I mean, I don't see Milwaukee as a powerhouse. They're really good.
Well, there's only historically, if you're down 3-1 in the NBA playoffs, you've got a 5% chance of winning.
But Ron, how about this? You know the Greek goes to the basket, and you know half the time he spins. If he's going with his left hand, and you've got him covered from the left, you take this left away as he's driving, he's going to spin. They took one offensive foul on him, and all the times he drove last night, and it was Morris. But it wasn't on a spin move. He just stepped in when he drove, and he took the 2 plays before that, he could have taken another one. He was standing there, and he did the spin move. And I says, why did Morris just step in and take the offensive foul? Why doesn't Stevens work on that? Whenever he's going left or right, if you have a pretty good defensive position on him, he's going to spin on you. That guy on that weak side should be sliding down.
Well, in Game 3, not to whine about the officiating, but the officiating was terrible in Game 3. Last night, not so much.
Yeah, but Kyrie killed him in Game 2. Don't forget, the Celtics had all the momentum going into Game 2.
Well, we'll shift.
And Kyrie played terrible basketball.
Well, we'll shift gears.